Marjorie Taylor Greene alleged that without evidence, the Bidens were involved in that.
I want to talk about what this looks like from the perspective of a political scientist. I've seen many other great creators talk about why Marjorie Taylor Greene needs to be sued for defamation, and I completely agree with that. If you put her comments, though, into a larger political and historical context, the language that she's using is consistent with one of the 10 stages of genocide, specifically dehumanization. The idea is to make the target so morally repulsive in the eyes of the larger audience, the larger population, that unaliving them no longer becomes unthinkable because they're seen as less than human. They're seen as vermin or insects. And what is more morally repellent than what Marjorie Taylor Greene is accusing the Bidens of doing? From a legal standpoint, though, it's problematic because the Genocide Convention doesn't cover political groups. And her targets are very clearly political and not limited to one particular racial, ethnic, or religious group. However, there is an argument that's been made in the genocide literature for about 25 years now that political groups need to be included in the definition of genocide. But even barring that, this kind of language, which seems intended to incite violence towards this political group, can, at a bare minimum, be categorized as incitement of a crime against humanity, which becomes very difficult to prosecute internally. Regardless of what the domestic level potential criminal charges would be for her, it's very hard to see how what she said last night is protected speech under the First Amendment, especially because she very well knows what she's saying is complete fiction, and because it was very clearly motivated by what's called absolute malice. So I very much hope to see the appropriate civil and possibly criminal lawsuits coming at Marjorie Taylor Greene in the very near future. If this were a healthy democratic society, leaders on her side of the aisle would already be out there condemning in no uncertain terms what she said and taking her off the leadership of congressional committees and calling for other forms of sanctions. But based on the recent past, we're probably very unlikely to see that because that side of the aisle seems to be awash in moral cowardice at the moment.